here is your top 10 list of Israel getting caught red-handed in their lies. I call it Israel's greatest hits. I even had to combine some of them just to get it down to 10 because I'm starting to think that the entire state is a pathological liar. So starting at lie number 10, you have this beautiful family getting caught red-handed, ripping their clothes to make it look like they were attacked by Hamas. You can see here the dad telling the cameraman to stop filming. Number 9 comes in with their attempt to avoid civilians.
About the civilians there, we're doing everything we can to minimize.
But according to this Israeli representative, they can hardly tell the difference.
How do you tell a Hamas terrorist from a Palestinian civilian?
Hamas is making it very difficult to do that because we know that it's
So how do you know you've killed thousands of them? But you don't actually know, do you, how many of them you've killed?
Number 8 goes to this way more German-looking than Jewish-looking guy who made himself famous with the list of Hamas shifts, aka Gregorian calendar in Arabic. And he says the elevator shaft was a tunnel. Man, he lied so much that this journalist actually called him out.
I'd also like you to address the question of credibility, because frankly, the IDF has a less than perfect track record with the issue of credibility. So why should the world trust you now?
Because of the importance of credibility, ourselves were fast to go to conclusions.
And for number 7, we have any location that Israel suggested for them to seek refuge. And this was the biggest lie, because how do you lie about the future? That's when we found out they were even willing to bomb hospitals, schools, refugee camps. Like, seriously? Because right after they would get to the safe zone, there was Israel deliberately targeting said safe zones. And this included bombing the beach after they finally allowed Gazans to flee to Egypt. Number 6 comes in at a serious miscount of the collateral damage to Israel, which was their leading cause for this war. The total collateral started at 1,400, then dropped to 1,200. Then we found out that all Israeli men are forced into the military or jailed for non-compliance. So half of them weren't even civilians. And then we found out that Israel's military was also shooting their own civilians because they just couldn't tell the difference from the sky.
An Israeli attack helicopter that was dispatched may have apparently killed some Israelis fleeing the area as well.
So less than half of the original 1,400 is the reason for non-stop bombardment for the last 8 weeks. At number 5, we have the decimated human shield argument, because I just want you to think of any bank heist movie, and I want you to think about the lengths that cops go to get the hostages out, such as promising a fake helicopter, sending in water for the hostages. Like, you don't bomb civilians at any point, no matter how long the standoff. But then footage comes out of Israel doing this, not Hamas.
The Israeli army has been accused of using Palestinians, including children, as human shields, forcing a Palestinian to go with them as they searched house to house. Another alleged victim who spoke to the BBC was just 11 years old.
So that didn't work out too well for them. Number 4 will be the famous tunnels under everywhere. There are tunnels under the hospital, under the homes, in every location they bombed, which is everywhere. And then it turns out that Israel only knows about the tunnels because Israel built them.
Did you misspeak?
No, we helped them to build these bunkers.
Number 3 is the hostage situation, past and present. Like, Israel keeps trying to smear Hamas's name as cruel animals that need to be wiped out, but the hostages that just came back and the hostages from last month share the same story. So that kind of speaks louder than the words. Number 2 on this list are the Academy Award winning actors, such as this soldier caught for posing as a Palestinian journalist, then seen on camera getting dressed again freely, and this beautiful actress trying to sound like she's in Gaza and hates Hamas, but was identified to have an Israeli accent, and not one who grew up in Israel either, so that's telling. But the number 1 greatest hit of Israel getting caught red-handed is their leader, Benjamin Netanyahu, originally from Philly, named Benjamin Milikowski, which literally just means from Milikau, which is in Poland, nowhere near Palestine or Israel or whatever you want to call it. He adopted that name after moving into Israel, probably to sound like Jewish and not Polish. But then he was practically raised in the US, and he only came into power last year, November 2022. And look at the damage so far. But here's why he's caught red-handed. He was recording saying this about America.
במיוחד היום עם אמריקה, אני יודע מה זה אמריקה. זה לא שאפשר להזיז אותו בקלות, להזיז לכיוון הנכון. לא יחייב לו.
אז שאני אנחנו עושים איזה משהו, אז הם...
יש אז נניח שהם אומרים משהו. אז אמרו, 80% מהאמריקאים תומכים בה. זה אבסורד.
Wow. Guys, with all these lies and craziness, it's a wonder that this guy isn't locked up and on trial for the death penalty for over 20,000 counts of first-degree murder. And for a bonus semi-lie, we have this robot telling us to be afraid because you are next from Israel's campaign. Like, they could have at least programmed blinking. But I think maybe they did that on purpose to make it more scary. Anyways, I don't think anyone believed this was a real human, did they? But what it said to me was, like, they don't even have anyone on their side, so they had to bring a robot to deliver the message. Like, shame, Israel. Shame.